Hi, guys.
Hey, we're back.
We're back. Pharmacists Out of the Box.
Summer has been crazy. We've got lots of updates, but we have to address something right away. It's hurricane season.
It's hurricane season. And at this very moment, there's one barreling down, and the cone of shame or the cone of uncertainty is like all over Florida. So
It's anybody's
we're all preparing.
guess. Yes. The shelves in every store are empty of water.
Everybody's got to get water. I mean,
I'm going to prime that. Not even go anywhere.
Just send it to me.
I tried to do online grocery shopping today because Dave's like, okay, we really got to, get our stuff together.
Stuff to eat.
I enter in the order in 5 minutes because I'm that good now. Not available for pickup for 7 whole days. I've never had that happen. I guess I haven't been through online grocery shopping with a hurricane.
Yeah, it's like, what? I need it now. You can't
I was going to come in a few hours.
Don't they have drones now that do this?
Yes.
But no, it's like, I don't know. It's like how many Friday, Saturday, Sunday? We're like 3 or 4 days out. And the grocery stores are out of water.
Yes,
like you
no
stand
more
there and you go,
waters.
how many cases of water will I need? And every year we end up with like 5 cases left over. It's like, I really don't think we need that much water. But
you just never know.
You never know.
You really don't. You don't know where it's going to land. So definitely buying a lot of non-perishables. Important stuff here.
Important stuff. Popcorn.
At home with a toddler for days without electricity.
So we thought we would just like pretend it's early hurricane celebration party. Cheers. Terrifying in the house. Oh my gosh, there's a storm outside party.
So my teacher today at class, Lisa, put together a pre-hurricane workout party for all of us. And she got super creative with like adding a bar to the workout because it's usually this like sweat. I consider it like watered down like CrossFit maybe. Like it always changes up. It's hardcore. Wonderful. You sweat a lot. We're all like, Lisa, we were thinking of a different kind of bar when you said this.
It's a bar workout.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, I'll have to see if I can attach her workout so you guys can all try it if you're going through the hurricane. It's fun.
Yeah, but no, we really, just for you guys who aren't in Florida, because I know we have a lot of listeners in other countries, actually, in Canada and other countries. If you're not familiar with hurricanes, it's much different than like maybe a snowstorm or something. I think in the sense that we know for like a week that this thing could be coming our way. So we have plenty of time to plan, and you always get the water, non-perishable foods, because inevitably, even if you don't get like a major windstorm or something, power's going to go out likely. And so you won't maybe have a fridge to keep things. And we'll talk about that, how important that is. But yeah, so we all prepare. We get a bunch of food, and then when it comes, I don't know what you do. What does your family do? Like when it's almost here and when it's starting, like what are you doing?
It depends how bad it is, but a lot of times we'll go to like the interior room of a house. I'll have like an overnight bag, so I'll throw in some like over-the-counter medicine, bandages. I don't know, just random
puzzles,
stuff.
Cards. We're like ready.
Lantern.
Yeah. And you're calling all your friends saying, it's coming, it's real windy outside. And then we all sit around. This is what we do. Well, you get all your food and your stuff right. You're ready. You got a fan, right? Because the air conditioner may stop working. So you can, sometimes a lot of us now buy generators. So you can at least run a fan and, maybe keep your refrigerator going. But then we sit around and we watch Weather Channel for hours on end, watching that thing just circle and spin and just creep towards us. Do you do that? I mean, we watch it continuously.
Or listen.
We have to stop.
Yeah,
like, I can't
like,
anymore.
No, just
the stress of it. It's like, like hours. It's coming. What are the winds now?
I know. Yeah, you can hear like, I don't know, power like flickering and or like, what do you call it? Like
surges.
Sparking. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. And then the wind started, and of course, like, oh my goodness,
how many trees are gonna fall
Yeah,
down?
With that tree really
should
has
have
a
cut
bad
that down.
place in it. Yeah, we should have cut that down. But yeah, so that's usually what happens. And we get a lot of rain, and
the days leading up to it, like being in pharmacy is pretty intense. Like everybody needs their prescription like yesterday. If we get a lot of evacuees or how do you say that?
Yeah, because where we are sometimes, if it's in South Florida, we have a lot of people kind of come up our way and hang out here, and then you have lots of new people.
Right. Trying to transfer or call doctors, get scripts, do emergency supplies. So it gets hectic. So you want to make sure you're self-caring if you're having to deal with hurricane or snowstorm or whatever weather incremental stuff you have going on. It did bring to mind, though, a lot of prep, especially in Florida around this time of year. We're making sure like everybody's phone numbers are up to date so that we have contacts and we can text each other. Some bigger.
Now you're talking about customers and patients, or you're talking about
your
employees?
staff. Yeah, like are we going to be open today? Are we going to shut down because it's too bad to drive? So some of the bigger corporations will actually have like a 1-800 number you call and you put in your store number and check and see if that facility's opened or closed. However, I now work in a smaller type of facility, so I don't think they have anything like that, but I want to make sure, all of our phone numbers are up to date. And I had an instance this summer where my son got stung by like yellow jackets, like immensely. And it was a very scary situation. I was a super long way away from home. And so in that sort of circumstance, it's like my husband needed somebody like at home, like emergency services or taking him to the fire department. So it got me thinking, I've had techs that have either passed out at work or like had an accident, but nowadays, like, I'm not going to be like, hold on, let me, call HR for your person's contact, your emergency info.
You need it.
Yeah, you need it right then. Or their phone's locked. Like, how am I going to like unlock their phone and call somebody so they can like go with them to the hospital? So I think like planning ahead of time, if you're a pharmacist or even part of a pharmacy team, like you can take the lead and say, hey, we all need to make sure we're on the same page. Like when I was pregnant, I was like, here's my midwife's number, my husband's number, my mom's number, like everybody's number, like listed out in order that they call. But after that, I didn't really like think about what happens if me or someone in my family needs help.
Right. And I think it's important. I know we had a plan. It was kind of like a tree of who was going to call who. So everybody knew like who to expect the call from. And they also knew who the person would be for them to call. Like who do they call if they're curious about when we open again?
Yes.
Yeah. And so that's kind of before, you might have some people come for those new prescriptions. And then I know for us, like when it did happen, or when it was really close and we were closing down the store,
right,
we kind of made sure things were like off the floor and computers and printers were off the floor so that if there was any flooding or anything like that.
And we would cover like the racks or some of the meds, because if you had like roof leakage, if that's a common problem when it rains, now you're getting an extra hard storm. Yep. So you may want to cover that. If power goes out, like having a way to maybe record temperatures is super nice. Definitely that's a concern when you have expensive medicines.
Yeah. A lot of times in the pharmacies, I'm pretty sure most of them are hooked to the generator. A lot of pharmacies, or even grocery stores that have pharmacies, have generators that only supply certain main things. And I know that in the one I worked in, the pharmacy, the fridge was definitely on that. So that was going to stay pretty cold. Yeah. And then
and so store managers, like if you are inside a grocery store, like making sure like you've got the store manager's phone numbers or cell phone numbers. That way you can keep your team informed or let them know if, hey, tree's down, I can't even get out of my driveway, that sort of thing.
And I think as a manager or as a pharmacy manager or as a boss, you have to kind of be understanding too, once things kind of crank back up, that some of your employees may have trees that have fallen and they can't get out of their driveway, or they don't have power yet and they still can't, so I think it continues even afterwards as people start coming back, of like just being understanding of even our employees, what their needs are going to be, and being kind of flexible. And I think during those times, I think for us, our patients are usually kind of understandable. I don't think people are everybody's kind of in that panic of like, okay, bad things are going on. And they're usually kind of understanding of like, it's going to be a few minutes. we only have one person now in here.
And a lot of times, like here in Florida, the governor will declare a state of emergency. So there's certain overrides you can put in for prescriptions to go through early. So if they're evacuating, they can bring them with them, or just to have them on hand so they're not having to be out and about after the hurricane.
I know here in Florida too, and I would imagine it's in most other states, you can sign up as a pharmacist, or it asks you if you want to be a first responder type person. Would you be willing as a healthcare professional to come and help in the places people go to?
Shelters.
We got
it.
I'll get there. But yeah, and so I actually have signed up saying, yeah, I'll help. I'll go over and help if I need to. Because in the shelters, you might have somebody who has all their meds, but maybe came to the shelter and can't remember which one's which, or something like that. And so you can come in and help them in the shelter. So that's another option during these kind of emergency situations.
Right. A lot of people maybe evacuate quickly, don't have everything they need. I know a lot of times we were taking like our extra like pillows or blankets, things we didn't need into the shelters just because people just didn't have them. I think that was Irma or something.
Yeah. Yeah. But kind of important. It's kind of pertinent for us right now because it's really happening. And it's just hard for us because you just never know. Sometimes it gets all like the one we had last year. I can't even remember the name of it. It was huge. It was like the biggest hurricane we've ever seen. And it just took over the whole state. But like all we got was like rain and some wind. Like it really, and then you could have the tiniest storm that could end up just taking down all the trees. And so it is kind of like scary of like how bad it's going to be. And you never really know. Even if it's a small one.
Coolers, keeping your medicine,
having a cooler
refrigerated, or having ice packs like all our insulin patients. Thinking about nebulizers. If you're out of power, you're not going to have your nebulizer machine. So is that a child? Is it somebody that needs a spacer? Or can you have the meter dose inhaler? Those are typically more expensive. So trying to help patients either with coupons or cost, that can be important. Let's see. Also, this is where I worked before. It was very, very country, but they would actually alert like the electric company that they were on certain medical equipment where they needed power. And so that way, when the power went out, it's not a high priority city, it's a small town. They'd actually be on the high priority track because they had medical devices that needed power. So that would be something to maybe plan ahead if you are staying put, or maybe up north if you do get these like snowstorms, or I don't know what happens up north.
Yeah.
But yeah, just alerting your utilities like, hey, this person in our family has X, Y, or Z. We need to be on a high priority.
Or even people with, I imagine like people with oxygen, I think they're kind of self-sustaining, but I think there are some that are electric that I know in like long-term care facilities, there's just this magical machine that they plug in that makes oxygen. So, but all of those things, and hopefully it won't be that bad, but being prepared. I mean, preparing is the biggest thing. And if it all is not necessary, then what a blessing.
Having plans. So that's another crazy thing. I never, I grew up down south, so we definitely had the tornado prep. You like crawl under the desk, cover your head. We have the hurricane prep. But in my family, we never really talked about like in home invader prep. Have you ever done that? That's kind of crazy.
We had a fire. Like ours was like, if there was a fire, like where would you go? And so where would mom and dad find, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like we had kind of a fire. Spot? Yeah, where's our meeting spot outside, that if there was a fire, just everybody get out to that spot. Yeah. But no, I didn't have it. That's a pretty good idea.
It's pretty, it really gets like my heart going, like thinking of like a home intruder and like prepping for that. But you really like, hopefully that never happens, but you do. You have to prep, like where are you going to line up? Like, do you have a gun in the house? How's it stored? Where are you going? Like, which closet are you hiding in? I don't know. No. Can I put a trap door in my house?
Yes,
that'd be so cool.
A safe room. Just close it off. No, I always laugh because the gun thing. Our guns are we have guns, and they're in the safe, right? Right. But our safe, I guess you can silence it or whatever, but ours is not silent, so it has like a code on the outside. So if there ever was a burglar, by the time I'm like beep 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 beep, they'll be like on me. And I always tell Dan, like, by the time I get the second or third number in there, like, you know. You
don't have like a fingerprint one? Those are awesome.
Oh no, see, that would be really nice. No, that's smart. But anyway.
So there's that kind of prep. I'm just trying to think of other things people really need to like think about or prepare for ahead of time. Like, I mean, that emergency, like where my son was stung, that was so scary. I'm like, we never prepped for that. Like, you don't plan for somebody to like, I don't know, get stung a million times or.
Well, and I think too, even the storm situation, like there are older people that live alone. And so, you know, I would just say also, if you guys know of anybody, you know, that's alone, if you can think of someone, like it's always good to check on them or, you know, ask them if they have a plan or are they going somewhere,
do you need help getting like food or. Yeah.
Making sure those people are all right. Because a lot of times I think they don't want to bother anybody and, you know.
That's a good point.
And they maybe need to have a plan. But anyway, I just thought about that.
Gas. Oh my gosh, the gas lines are terrible right now. Like, have you actually tried to fill up your car?
Oh, what do you mean the gas lines in the house? Like the gas. I'm like, really? Are they leaking?
What do we have to do?
I was like,
no,
I went to get gas. Yes. It was at lunchtime today. Again, we're like 4 days ahead. The sun is shining and not a lick of rain is scheduled for today. Beautiful day. I I went to get gas.
Yes.
And it was like at 10 o'clock after my dental appointment. And at 10 o'clock in the morning, like people are working. There's people working.
Nobody
Everybody's
should be
at school. It was like madness at the gas station.
Oh, yeah. Publix was mad, too. It was insane. Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
It's a weekday.
Yeah. I was like, where are all these people?
Because you have to fill up your car. In case you have to flee the scene and drive 200 miles, I guess. We have to fill up our cars.
Or fill up your tanks for generators.
Yeah, fill up all your gas cans for generators. And yeah, so gas stations are quite fun. So be patient. We learned to be patient. And actually, people were really nice to me because, you get people in there all different directions. You're kind of like, where are you going?
What's the etiquette? Who's the pattern?
Yeah, so actually it went really well. Somebody was like, yeah, go ahead. But,
good.
Yeah, it can be crazy, but we do run out of gas. So that's what happened a couple of times. People, I think that's the fear, is that gas disappears and then you're on a peninsula, the gas has to come down to it. And there'd be people down south that didn't have gas at times because of that.
So definitely fuel. And then I was thinking cash, like having money on you in case like ATMs or card readers are down. That would be a thing. Making sure your cell phone's charged up.
Animals outside. I have chickens.
Yeah,
I did think about my chickens. Well, I was like, today, that house is ginormous and heavy as heck. Yeah. So I was like, surely that thing will not tumble across the yard. But if it does, they can just, enjoy being live free animals. But yeah. And I think dogs, you talk about dogs go to shelters. That's another thing that when people go to shelters, you have to look for a dog-friendly shelter. Some are not dog-friendly for people to go to who don't have dogs or are allergic to dogs. Cats. Yeah. So you have to have a place. So there'll be different shelters. So people with dogs have to kind of be alert to what shelters they can, or cats, what shelters they can go to. But, outside animals, take care of your animals. That's kind of a thing.
Picking up like lawn chairs.
Oh, lawn chairs, yes.
Decorative stuff outside.
Planters, if you have little planters, things like that.
You do not want those objects flying into your window.
Big bowling ball. Yeah. But just some things to think about. We thought it was just really pertinent, on the pharmacy side of things, and then also just life. And just to share what it's like.
Not only do we have like back to school, like Labor Day holiday.
This one's falling on a 3-day weekend, folks. We get a hurricane on 3-day weekend.
I know.
But
schedule this during the week.
Come on, yeah, like on a Wednesday. Can we get a hurricane on a Wednesday? And just stay on the rest of the week.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine.
But anyway. So thank you guys. Welcome to and these always happen in the fall. So we're in the fall time of year and it's hurricane season. So hurricane parties.
Yes.
Galore.
Cheers.
Popcorn and wine.
Awesome.
Just to make it bearable,
Yes.
So thanks for joining us. I'm Heather.
I'm Bryn.
Pharmacists Out of the Box, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.